Hello, everyone. Today, I want to pass on to you a lesson I was given from when I was a member of a Gnostic group. This lesson and technique was considered a key aspect and tool in order to awaken our consciousness while sleeping, and it's called the Key of Sol. I know I should have released the upcoming Q&A video by now as promised. I am working on it, but I've just been very busy and there's a lot of really good questions there that I really want to answer in depth for you. So expect a fairly long video for that, hopefully next week. So a lot of you have been interested in Gnosticism and asking me what it's all about, since there are many different lineages and types of it. So instead of trying to tell you what it is, I think you'll get a better feel for it if I just give you some of the direct information and guidance that I learned while studying and practicing there. With that said, if you are really interested in Gnosticism and really wondering what it all is about, I'll leave 4 good links in the description below, including a very nice short video which gives a taste as to its true meaning. In reality, Gnosis or Gnosticism, or to be a Gnostic, doesn't mean a particular system of belief or about a particular book that was written thousands of years ago or something, nor does it mean it's about a group of people at a particular time in history. Gnosticism, in a way, is more related to omnism, which is the recognition and respect of all religions by understanding the truth of them all and how they interconnect to each other, instead of focusing on the impure parts of religions which have degenerated and become obscured over time because of men, war, and whatever other reason. But of course, tell all this to your local priest and they won't agree with you because it doesn't keep them in business, right? So, if you enjoy this video and would like me to do more types of these Gnostic lessons, then please do let me know in the comments below. The nice thing about it is that many of the teachings are direct and specific tools or systems and structures of information that is very practical and applicable to daily life. So listen carefully. Take your own little notes if you like, in order for you to remember the main points that I'm about to give. So, let's get into this key of Sol. The foundation of it, or the rationale of it, is based upon the fact that the human being comes out into the astral body every night when we sleep, and that we travel around unconsciously doing chores, running errands, walking about aimlessly without any awareness at all, and that we often interpret these as dreams. And so it is taught that if one understands this, one will also understand why it is a common occurrence for the dead to not accept that they are dead. Therefore, we need a specific tool in order to awaken consciousness and break out of this unconscious type of awareness. The key to this is in discernment. So, we have things such as reality checks, right? Most of you know what this is, and I've talked about it before. If you make a habit of jumping in the physical with the intention of flying, then you'll eventually do it in your nightly excursions too, and you'll naturally realize it's a dream, right? Now, similarly, the Key of Sol is essentially an advanced form of reality check. It's an advanced form of reality check in the sense that it is a much more rigorous type of practical observation or practical self-observation. And so the specific practice is to divide our awareness into the observation of discerning 3 specific things, which are subject, object, location. You see? SOL. Sol. So let's break it down. Number one, subject. Subject means to be aware of you. It means to watch yourself each second of every moment. This means to be in a state of alertness towards your thoughts, actions, emotions, habits, words, and so forth. It's about remembering yourself. That's it. Be aware of yourself and what you're doing. When we're unconsciously in the astral, we're never aware of what we're thinking, feeling, or doing, but instead we're just living on autopilot without any conscious control. Is your body moving a certain way? Are you having strange thoughts? Are you in a particular mood? Why? It is about being aware of your entire being, you as a whole, as an experiencer of your experience. So look at yourself with curiosity as if you don't know who you are, as a scientist would objectively look at a subject. You are the subject. Number two, object. Object means to be aware of everything that's around you, and more importantly, not identify with them. For example, if you see a beautiful object like a suit in a window, a nice car, a fancy restaurant, do not be identified with it. In other words, don't get fascinated by it with your own subjectivity. See things without labeling them or judging them. This is an important aspect because, for example, often in our dreams, we look at objects such as perhaps a camel is in the middle of our bedroom, yet we don't reflect on why it's there. And instead, we identify or react immediately and become confused or start some kind of drama. Or the camel might ask you a question related to one of your interests that you're identified with. And you may even get into a conversation with the camel and not question the camel, the object, at all. So we need to deeply reflect on the objects around us and notice if anything is out of place. So that's it. Be alert of the objects around you in a critical and objective way. When we're unconsciously in the astral, we often get fascinated, enchanted, identified, and marvel at different things instead of actually attentively looking at them and questioning the reality of them in a fresh and unassuming way. Number three, location. Location means to be aware of why you are where you are. It means to observe and ask yourself, what is this place? Why am I here? What did I do to get here? How did I get here? To this shop, to this park, or this office, or this temple? We especially need to ask it when we're in our own home because we do a lot of unconscious living when we're inside our homes. When we're unconsciously in the astral, we often find ourselves walking from place to place, not even questioning how we got there in the first place. And if we really just asked it in the astral, we would realize very quickly that it makes perfect sense that how you got to where you are is actually complete nonsense when compared to your usual material life and how you get to places in normal, ordinary circumstances physically, right? So that's it. Subject, object, location. Now, it may seem insignificant if you don't understand the depth of how intensely you can actually practice this in your awareness. As I said, this is an advanced form of reality check. This is an astral reality check. For subject, don't assume your thoughts, and feelings are normal, ask yourself why you're feeling them and how you got to those types of particular feelings. For objects, don't just look at objects in a different way, but really question what they are, if it's behaving normally, and take a second glance at objects too, just to make sure. For location, don't just assume wherever you are is where you should be. Really play out in your mind the different scenarios that got you to this particular point. For example, run through your head when you left your home, what roads you walked down, whether you stopped at some shops on the way, and how you really got to where you are right now. Are you really aware of your reactions, thoughts, and feelings towards what I'm saying right now? Are you actually listening to what I'm saying, or are you just hearing me speak and playing your own narrative of thoughts over my voice? Don't answer with words. Pay attention. Are you really sure that the phone in your hand or computer you're using is actually a physical object? Did you ever contemplate that? Or be mindful of that? Or consider that? Are all the objects in your house right now the usual ones you own? Look around you and check thoroughly. Do not assume. Are you really aware of where you are and how you got to where you are sitting or standing right now? Did you consciously choose to listen to this video? Don't just assume it. Go into it. Replay your day over. You can be aware of all these things from moment to moment all the time. By this intensive reflective practice and combining being aware of these three things and vigorously exercising our awareness like this, it eventually turns into a muscle and habit that will also naturally take place in the astral in your sleep. You'll have logic for the first time in your astral life because you'll start having logical awareness in your physical awareness too. This type of reality checking naturally helps us go beyond dreaming too, if you are really exercising the subject part, especially, right? To be highly and distinctly aware of your thoughts, dreams, emotions, fears, and all that, and not to be identified with any of that, because those things are the things that suck us into unconscious dreaming. So, these three tools of awareness is a trinity of power. Don't underestimate the power of your mind. You know, some people ask, what is meditation? Is it breathing? Is it watching thoughts or feeling the body? Which is it? Don't you realize that you can do more than one thing at the same time? You do it all the time, right? Right now, you're listening to me, maybe texting someone at the same time, you're breathing, perhaps scratching your leg, hearing other sounds, thinking other thoughts, etc. Do not underestimate what your mind is capable of. You're able to be aware of these aspects of subject, object, and location all at the same time. It's similar to how we learn a new complex concept, right? At first, we think about all the things and study a concept, but then when it comes to just thinking about the concept, we're aware of the many things that that concept implies. Of course, like everything that needs to be mastered, it takes practice. At first, you'll probably have to say to yourself slowly, subject, okay, I must be aware of my thoughts. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? And then you say, object. And you really look around at different things without assuming what they are. And then you say, location, and ask yourself and replay in your mind where and how you got to where you are right now, really checking if that's true and asking yourself all these questions. So, at first, go through it like that if you like. Exercise your awareness without any judgments or identifications. And after a while, you should be able to develop this trinity of awareness instinctively without having to think too mechanically and slowly, like just how I broke it down. Eventually, you'll just be aware of all three aspects together, and you'll experience it as a sort of expansion of conscious, active awareness. This is the true meaning behind the key of Sol. This is why Sol has come together as subject, object, and location, because it's all three together, and awareness can be cultivated in this way. So do it as many times as you can. Do it as many times as you like for as many days, and you'll get better with practice. If you do this properly and you really commit to just this one thing, nothing else is required of you. I assure you, you'll have more experiences than you've ever had. Work on this one thing instead of looking to soak in knowledge from 100 books all the time and desperately looking outside of yourself, right? Just commit to this one practice and you'll see in a powerful way the benefits of this practice. If you really do it at every moment of your daily living, unceasingly, without pausing, you'll see tremendous improvements in overall self awareness, both in the physical and also during sleep. So that's it. It takes commitment and willpower and a firm resolve to do this, a firm decision, right? And, if any of you have success with this practice, please do come back to this video and let me know about your experiences and how it's affecting your awareness. I'd love to read your experiences and efforts with it, as I always do. And again, let me know if you like this sort of structured, specific tool and what you think about it, and whether I should do more videos like this about useful practices that I learned from Gnosticism. Also, a big thank you and shout out to Wibicino, Kevin, Astral Transfiction, Dan, and Borman, who raised his pledge. So I'm very grateful to you all. If you'd like to support Astral Doorway too and have access to our live Q&A discussion sessions, then simply follow the Patreon link in the description below. This is Gene, and I'll see you on the astral plane, reminding you of the key of Sol.